have had, not only in New Hampshire and Iowa, but all over this country, some of the largest turnouts of any campaign. We had 28,000 people on Portland, Oregon. But it's not just large turnouts that we've had. We have now well over 100,000 volunteers who every street they touch. Every street they're knocking on doors, they're on the phone, they're handing out literature, they're doing all kinds of incredible and spontaneous and imaginative things. Every day I read all kinds of crazy beautiful things. And in terms of fundraising, let me first of all thank all of you for being here tonight. We don't have a Super PAC. And the reason for that is I don't represent the agenda of corporate America. We don't represent the billionaire class, and we don't want their money. So what is the going on? And really, quite frankly, is an interesting experiment. And here's the experiment. On the other side, you don't have meetings like this. You have candidates sitting in front of 20, 30 people and leaving the room with millions and millions of dollars. That's what politics is today. And we are throwing out the idea that maybe, just maybe, we can get millions of Americans to make small contributions. We have over 400,000 individuals who have contributed to the campaign. Their average contribution, listen to this, is $31.20. How's that? So this is a people campaign that's going to be fueled by volunteers, it's going to be fueled by small campaign contributions. And what this campaign is about is bringing people together, middle class and working families, low-income people, white, black, Native American, Hispanic, Asian American, men and women, straight and gay, native-born and immigrants. And this is the principle. It's a very simple, basic principle. Is that if we do not let our opponents divide us up by race or where we were born or whether we're gay or whether we're straight, when we stand together, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Our campaign and the enthusiasm and the energy that the campaign is generating has taken the media and some of the professional pundits by surprise. It has also taken some of our opponents by surprise. And when people ask me, media ask me, well, why are you generating such large turnouts and why are you generating so much enthusiasm? I think the answer is pretty simple, and that is the American people are sick and tired with establishment politics. American people economics. And to my friends in the media, I say the American people are sick and tired of establishment media. The American people fully understand that corporate greed is destroying our economy, and that there is something profoundly wrong when almost all of the new income and wealth being generated goes to the top 1%. The American people, and I got to tell you, coast to coast, and whether you are liberal or progressive or conservative, whatever, there is profound disgust and a political system now that allows billionaires to buy elections. Plays a very important role, obviously, in our society. Well, I think more and more Americans want is to have media help us discuss the most important issues facing our country, rather than looking at politics as if it were a baseball game or a soap opera. Let me just tell you something that no other candidate for president will tell you. And that this campaign is absolutely not just about Bernie Sanders or getting Bernie Sanders elected president. Needless to say, that's pretty important. But what this campaign is about, which is even more important, is transforming America as a result of the political revolution that we are going to make. Here is the simple truth. No president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can deal with the crises facing working families today unless there is a mass movement of millions of people who look at Washington and say loudly and clearly, enough is enough! I can't do it alone. It will make no good. Will not do any good to elect me. I don't want to get elected unless we can transform America. We can't transform America unless you guys are actively involved in the process. The reason I say that is the simple truth is that in Washington now, you got Wall Street, you got corporate America, you got major campaign donors, you got corporate media. These folks are so powerful that nothing can change unless millions of people demand that change and make it clear that this government belongs to all of us, not just the handful. Doing well in this campaign is that we are talking about the issues that the American people stay up night worrying about, they think about, but nobody or media Congress doesn't talk about it very, very much. And I want to take a few minutes to talk about some of those issues. And let me begin with telling you that in America today, we live, right now, this moment, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. But very few people know that because almost all of the wealth and income goes to the people on the top. Today, the United States of America has more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth, and it is worse today, if you can believe it, than any time since 1928. The issue of wealth and income inequality is the great moral issue of our time. It is the great economic issue of our time. It is the great political issue of our time. And together, we are going to address it. There is something profoundly wrong when the top 1/10 of 1%, not that, not 1%, 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. There is something profoundly wrong when 58% of all new income generated now goes to the top 1%. Now, our Republican colleagues get very nervous when we talk about redistribution of wealth. They start shouting. But here it is the truth. Over the last 30 years, there has been a massive redistribution of wealth. The only problem is it's gone in the wrong direction. Of dollars that have gone from the pockets of working families into the bank accounts of the top 1/10 of 1%. And we, brothers and sisters, are going to reverse that flow. Profoundly wrong. When one family, the Walton family of Walmart, owns more wealth than the bottom 40% of America. What our job is to build an economy that works for working families and not just billionaires. Uniquely, I think, in modern American history, is sending a message to the billionaire class, and that message is, you cannot, you will not continue to have it all. You are not going to continue to get huge tax breaks when children in America go hungry. To China, when millions of Americans in this country desperately need propane. You are not going to provide huge compensation packages to the CEOs of large corporations while you cut wages and pensions and health care benefits of your employees. It ain't gonna happen. The greed of the billionaire class is destroying this country, and whether they like it or not, we are going to stop that greed. When we talk about economics, we're not only talking about the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality. This is what else we're talking about. Yes, the economy today is significantly better than when George W. Bush left office, and we eliminated 800,000 jobs a month. That's true. But what is also true is that for the last 40 years, the middle class of this country has been disappearing. Despite an explosion of technology and an increase in worker productivity, median family income today is almost $5,000 less than it was in 1999. Today, the median male worker, that man in the middle of the economy, in inflation accounted for dollars, listen to this, is making $783 less than he made 42 years ago. The median female worker, that woman in the middle of our economy, made $1,300 less last year than she did in 2007. So in other words, our economy is on the move. Problem is, it's moving in the wrong direction. And we're going to turn that around. Something to you that you don't see on TV very often, or the papers. Every month, the government comes out with a statistic on unemployment. Officially, unemployment in America is 5.1%. But there is another government statistic that includes those people who have given up looking for work, and those millions of people, and you know many of them, who are working part-time when they want to work full-time. And that together, real unemployment is over 10%. And now let me tell you something that you never hear about. It is a tragedy which has been swept under the rug. It bothers me immensely. Today, I asked a couple of months ago some economists in Washington to do a study for me. The study entails finding out what real unemployment is for high school graduates between the ages of 17 and 20. Kids who graduate high school. This is what they found. If the kids are white, real unemployment, 33%. If they are Hispanic, 36%. For young African-American kids, real unemployment is 51%. Now, as all of you know, sadly, tragically, the United States of America has more people in jail than any other country on earth. Did I know that? We have China 3 times outside in population. Communist or authoritarian countries, we have more people in jail than China. We have over 2 million people in jail. Now, if anyone here thinks there is not a direct connection between high youth unemployment and the fact that we have so many people in jail, you would be sorely mistaken. And let me just give you an example. I want to lay this out because I want you to appreciate the tragedy that we're dealing with. In 1979, 15% of African-American male high school dropouts ended up in jail. And that's a high number. Today, according to the last study we have seen in 2009, 69% of male African-American high school dropouts ended up in jail. How crazy is that? We're talking about the destruction of an entire generation of young people. Now, in my opinion, in my very short opinion, our country should be investing in jobs and education. Jobs and education, getting these kids off of street corners rather than in jail and more incarceration. At the end of the day, it costs a lot less money to send the kids to the University of Georgia than to put them in jail. That we will end the disgrace of having more people in jail than every other country, because we are going to create the best educated country. And when we talk about the economy, it's not just unemployment, which is much too high. It is the fact that in America today, we have millions of Americans who are working for wages that are just too damn low. The current minimum wage of $7.25 an hour is a starvation wage. And we are going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage of $15 an hour. And when we talk about fair wages, I hope every man in this room will stand with the women and demand pay equity. Economic reason for women to be making 78 cents on the dollar. Now, many of you have heard of my Republican colleagues talking about family values. They got a lot of sense. But you all know. I got that right. One word, that is called. You know what they mean? When they talk about that trade, what they mean is that women in this country should not be able to control their own bodies. Brothers and sisters should not be able to get legally married. I strongly disagree. Now, Jane and I have 4 great kids. And we have 7 beautiful grandchildren. We've been married for 27 years. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And We believe in family values and we believe in family. But our family values are just a bit different than Republican family values. And when I talk about family values, I am talking about ending the international embarrassment of the United States of America being the only major country on earth that does not guarantee paid family ambassadors. So it goes on, and Georgia goes on, and Vermont goes on, all over the country, is that today a woman is having a baby. And for those of you who are parents, you know what an extraordinary day that is. And it's a pretty big day for the baby as well. So here's the thing. If that woman and her family have sufficient income, she can stay home and get to know her baby and love her baby and bond with her baby over a period of months. But if that woman does not have sufficient income, she will be forced to separate from that baby and go back to work. That is not a family value. Together, we are going to pass legislation which will guarantee every family in America 12 weeks of paid family leave. When pollsters call you up and they say, what's on your mind? Usually the answer that people give is a four-letter word called job. And I'll tell you why. Unemployment, as I mentioned a moment ago, is much higher than the official statistics indicate. If you are 50 years of age, you are worried that when you walk into work tomorrow, your employer may say, Joe, thanks for 30 years of work, we've got a younger guy to replace you at half the salary. And if you are a college graduate, you know how hard it is to find work commensurate with your education. And that is why we need a massive federal jobs program to put millions of people back to work. Is to address the crisis of a crumbling infrastructure. Roads, bridges, water systems, rail, airports, let them say, need an enormous amount of work. Let's put millions of people back to work. And when we talk about the need to create millions of good-paying jobs, we also have to do everything possible to end the hemorrhaging of good jobs because of our disastrous trade policy. What our trade policies have been about for 40 years is corporations shutting down in America, letting millions of workers off and going to low-wage countries all over the world. If corporate America wants us to buy their products, the time is long overdue for them to start manufacturing those products back in America. These are just some of the words used to describe Wall Street. That economy will never work for working families unless we have a financial system whose job it is to provide affordable loans to small and medium-sized businesses rather than being a world unto themselves. Today, 3 out of the 4 largest banks are larger now than they were when we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. In my view, if a bank is too big to fail, it is too big to exist. Better than I know. Now, when people ask me, they say, there's a lot of big issues out there. What is the most important issue? And the truth is, you can imagine, it is hard to say that this issue is much more important than that issue is also important. But there is one issue which is unique, and that is it impacts every other issue. And brothers and sisters, let me be as blunt as I can in telling you what I think most of you already know. As a result of the disastrous Supreme Court decision in the Citizens United case, the American political system has become totally corrupted, and the foundations of American democracy are being undermined, and that is a simple fact. Citizens United, by a 5-4 decision, what the Supreme Court essentially said is to the wealthiest people in this country, the Supreme Court said, you guys already own much of the economy. Now we are going to give you the opportunity to own the United States government, and that is precisely what they are trying to do right now. The Koch brothers alone, second wealthiest family in America. You know about the Koch. The extreme right-wing family. They will spend in this campaign cycle some $900 million. That is more money than either the Democratic or Republican Party will spend. When you have one family spending more money than either of the major political parties in this country, my friends, you are not talking about democracy, you are talking about alibi. We are not going to allow that to happen in this country. Let me repeat a promise I have already made, and that is that no nominee to the United States Supreme Court will get my support unless he or she is loud and clear in saying that one of their first orders of business will be to overturn citizenship. And in my view, if we want a vibrant democracy, which I actually believe in, where anybody, regardless of his or her political views, can run for office, we need to move to public funding of elections. economy. And we understand that we do not succeed in the future unless we have the best educated workforce in the world. And it is beyond my comprehension, it really is, that today we have hundreds of thousands of bright, qualified young people who want to go to college but can't go to college for one reason. And that is their families lack the funds. That is why I have introduced legislation, and will make happen if president, to see that every public college and university in America is tuition free. Will be revolutionary, because what it will say to every kid in America, kids who are living here in Atlanta, who are in the 4th grade and the 5th grade, what it says to those kids, you do your homework, you study, you work hard, you will get a college education. Also addresses another crisis that we face, and that is millions of Americans, young and some not so young, who are struggling with oppressive, disastrous levels of student debt. Right now, there are millions of Americans paying 6, 8, 10% interest rates on student debt, but you can refinance your home for 2, 3, 4%. That doesn't make any sense to me. So we are going to let go of the student debt, refinance their loans. We're going to get the government out of the business of making billions off of student debt. People say to me, well, Bernie, it's a good idea, but it's pretty expensive. Isn't it? The answer is it is expensive. And we're going to pay for that by a tax on Wall Street speculators. When we talk about our responsibilities as adults, parents, as human beings, there is nothing more important than leaving our planet healthy and habitable. The debate is over. The scientific community has spoken in a virtually unanimous voice. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity, and it is already causing massive problems in America and around the world. And what the scientists are telling us, by the way, is that we do not act boldly, the serious problems that we face today are going to get much, much worse in the years to come. They're telling us that if we do not transform our energy system, by the end of this century, this planet Earth will be between 5 and 10 degrees warmer. We cannot allow that to happen, and that is why we have the moral responsibility as a nation to lead the world, working with China, Russia, India, lead the world, to transform our energy system and create the possibility. And sustainable energy. That's where we are. And when we talk about the needs of this country, let us understand something I hope every person in this room does. And that is that the United States of America is the only major country on earth that does not guarantee health care as a right to all Americans. The Affordable Care Act has done some very good things. Millions of people today have insurance who otherwise would not. But yet, 35 million remain with no health insurance, and many people in this room have high deductibles and high co-payments. In my view, we have got to join the rest of the industrialized world, guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child, for Medicare for all, Medicare. Talk about becoming the kind of nation I think all of us want. We understand that while we have come a very long way in combating racism in America, we still have a long way to go. And all forms of institutional racism, and at the same time, make major reforms to our very broken criminal justice system. It is unacceptable to me nor you that for years and years and years, unarmed African Americans have been killed by police, and that is going to end. I am a former mayor, and to be the mayor of Burlington, I work very closely with the police department. I just want to say that anyone who thinks being a cop today is an easy job is very wrong. It is a tough job. Police officers work under incredible stress. They're underpaid, and they have great jobs. Talk about criminal justice reform, what we are talking about is making sure we have well-trained, well-paid police officers all over the country. But, nonetheless, like any other public official, when a police officer breaks the law, he or she must be held accountable. Right now, the members of the House and the Senate to bring forth comprehensive criminal justice legislation, but among other things, it means demilitarizing many local moving towards community policing, where police officers are part of the community, making police departments look like the community they serve. And it also means providing a way out of jail back into civil society. And it also means taking a hard look at I find it remarkable that many young people have a criminal record for smoking marijuana, but not one major Wall Street executive has been prosecuted. Changes we need to bring our people together. We have got to understand that there are some 11 million undocumented people in this country. These people are living in fear of deportation, living in fear of seeing their families broken up. They are often exploited economically. In my view, we must move to provide legal status for the undocumented. Comprehensive immigration reform, and we need a path toward citizenship. As all of you know, we live in a very dangerous and crazy world, and in that regard, I think all of us remember what September 11th today was about. I was in Washington, D.C. when it happened. Obviously, something I will never forget, nor will anybody else in this
Salvador Allende!
Salvador Allende is also. Now, we all know that there are no simple solutions to the kind of crazy and dangerous world that we live in. Let me just say this. In my view, we as the most powerful military on earth must do everything that we can to lead the world in resolving international conflict without going to war. Senator and a former congressman who listened carefully to what George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Donald Rumsfeld had to say. I listened carefully, and I perceived that they were lying, and I voted against that law. In the history of our country, leading to so many horror stories in terms of loss of lives of 6,700 people in our country, brave men and women, 500,000 coming home with PTSD and TBI.
No more drugs!
Now, right now, as you know, Congress is debating the president's negotiations and agreement with Iran. And here's the story there. In my view, it is absolutely imperative that Iran not get a nuclear weapon. But I believe, and the President believes, that we can do them without going to war. Why, just a couple of days ago, I voted in support of the agreement, and we had enough votes to support the agreement. Let me conclude. since I haven't gone on long enough. What I beg of you and what I urge of you is to think big, not small. If we were a poor developing country, if we were a Haiti, a poor country, we would sit around and say, you know, it would be great if everybody could have health care, but we're poor, we can't afford it, etc., etc. We are today the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We can create a nation in which all of our people have health care and a right. That is not utopian, that is not pie in the sky, that happens in every other major country. We can do it. We can create a nation where 20% of our kids are not living in poverty. When mom and dad go to work, they know that their kids are in excellent, affordable child care or pre-K. We can do that. Create a nation in which everybody, not just young people, but all people who want to pursue higher education can do it regardless of their income. We can create a nation in which our parents, our seniors, live in dignity and security and not be forced to choose between food and medicine. That is all. That is why when my Republican colleagues talk about cutting Social Security, our view is no. We're not going to cut Social Security or disability programs. We're going to expand them. And we can create a nation where every veteran, every man and woman will put their lives on the line to defend us, will get the quality health care and benefits. In which we tell the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations who are doing phenomenally well that yes, they are going to have to start paying their fair share. Finally, we can create a nation where every person, no matter their race, their religion, their disability, or their sexual orientation, realizes the full promise of equality that is our birthright.